with cheese.
Where do you get those?
Well, any place. Sissies are probably.
I mean, just bring all three of the same things. What would you like?
Hamburger and a fry.
Oh, hell, that's all right with me. I don't want to make no. Yeah, just three of them.
Herbert.
If they're open, I think you can get them right here. Pork and pizza.
I don't think they can now. I don't think they have those. Send somebody up to Burger Hut.
He's going to go get us something. They're going to send out to get us something to eat.
I wonder if I can run down.
With us, or you want to go get something?
May run down and get.
It don't matter.
See if we'll settle up when we get back. Probably just.
We'll just eat here in the back room or somewhere. I mean, you'll eat and let them two eat, and we'll eat together. Get him something, and I'll pay for it.
It don't matter.
Well, tell him what you want.
I got money. Just whatever you're getting, same thing. Cheeseburger basket.
We're getting a cheeseburger basket. Yeah.
Don, 3 cheeseburger baskets. 3 of them. 3 cheeseburger baskets.
One for Herbert. Yeah. $140 an hour.
Yeah,
at least he's got enough money to get started.
He said, "No, we'll settle up when he gets back."
It'll be the most expensive cheeseburger we've ever eaten.
Is he going to do it?
No, he's going to order it. Somebody's going to go get it, and they're going to eat here. My understanding.
That'd be fine. I'd like to get this. I got.
If we can start before he gets back there.
Mr. Hyatt. Mr. Hyatt, could I see you 1 second? Just. Yes, I am from a very old school, and I want to ask Mr. Ledford and Mr. Leak if we may alter this only because I see their social security numbers on this Exhibit 5.
All right.
And I don't want those anywhere around. Is it okay with you if we strike through those?
That is just fine with me.
Okay.
I think that's
we
an
need
appropriate
to black
concern for the
We need to black
price.
those out.
Yes, sir.
And I'll ask Mr. Leak if it's okay with him.
I will make sure that on the copy of the exhibit that we have at our table that it's blacked out as well.
That is good. I live in fear of somebody's social security number.
I thought they had that marked up, but you can do that.
Absolutely.
I read it out. Mr. Leak.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Leak, could I ask you a question, please, sir? I just spoke with Mr. Hyatt. You know me. I look at everything. On this Exhibit 5, we still have those Social Security numbers there, and I'm going to ask the recorder to black those out. Is that okay?
You have always been the person I wanted to employ in my law office.
I wouldn't last a day, you know that. But it's fun.
I heard.
You heard. Take those Social Security numbers off there.
Absolutely.
Okay?
I think I have a Sharpie that'll probably do it.
Okay.
Is that the only ones you found?
No, it's actually on
White it
2
out?
pages. White it out or black it out, one or the other.
Probably black
There,
it out.
Mr. Leak's going to get you copies.
Okay.
Well, that,
At this time, I'm speaking with the attorneys. Mr. Leak, sir, your client obviously has the burden of proof today under general statute. And sir, after Mr. Leak presents his case, you will follow. Essentially what we've been doing so far.
Which is going forward is the property and civil procedure vested on the other side.
Well, potentially misread. I'm sorry.
The challenger.
John, you can go first. And folks, what we're going to do here, essentially, we're going to have cross-examination. We'll go back and forth just like we've been doing until all questions have been exhausted for the most part. So, why this time, sir, would you like to proceed with the evidence and go forward? Excuse me. There is an opportunity for an opening statement. I would say in the interest of time, if we could limit that to 5 minutes, if you would like to make an opening statement.
I would approve if I could. My name is David Whichever from Haywood County Bar. I'm here before the Board of Elections today representing 3 citizens and residents of Madison County in regard to the challenge of candidacy of Mr. Ledford as sheriff of Madison County. In preparing for this case, I learned that there is a difference between legal terminology that we use on a daily basis, those two words being residency and domicile. I'd like to talk to you all about that for just a moment, in just a bit. I'd like to ask, when you all are considering the evidence, to, as Mr. Law stated, keep an open mind and put onto me the burden of persuading you all. In doing that, my burden is the preponderance of the evidence. As I like to tell people to consider evidence, provide preponderance, it's not a murder trial where we have to present evidence beyond reasonable doubt. To me, if it's a football game, a preponderance of the evidence is the 51-yard line. If the scale tips ever so slightly from one side to the other, then I have met my burden. The challenged opponent has the burden of proving that they are domiciled in Madison County. I use that word domicile, and I'll get to that in just a minute. In receiving testimony, we've already heard from one witness. We have to listen to we have to weigh their credibility in listening to what they say. Credibility is the honesty and believability. You, the panel, have to live here after this decision is made. You have to live with the decision for the rest of your lives. You have to live with honor of the truth and the burden of lies which are spoken. I would ask that in requiring us to prove our burden, you look to the statutes and the case law. In looking to this, you must realize that the sheriff's statute requires someone to be a resident when they file. However, in challenging a resident, they must prove domicile. Black's Law Dictionary, which is considered a learned treatise, which the Supreme Court of the United States refers to, states, residency means living in a particular locale, but domicile means living in that locality with the intent to make it a fixed and permanent home. Residency simply requires bodily presence as an inhabitant in a given place, while domicile requires bodily presence in that place and also the intention to make it a permanent domicile. There are 3 landmark cases in North Carolina which we use as guidance, which have been the law of North Carolina for the past 60 years. That case starts out, Owens versus Chaplin, in 1948. It was then referred to in the 1970s in the Hall case, and then in Farnsworth in 1994. In these cases, which we will refer to throughout our examination of witnesses, it refers to domicile. Domicile is a higher burden than residency. By Mr. Ledford becoming a challenged opponent, he not only has to prove residence, he has to prove domicile. And domicile is what you all have to look at as the board to see as the burden that he has to persuade you to. Not the burden of residency. As the challenge candidate, he has to persuade you to the burden of domicile. In order to have a domicile, he has to have an actual abandonment of a prior residence with a fixed or ordinary residence left in its place. This is an objective standard. In order for him to claim that Madison County is his residence, he has to show you his burden is an objective standard that he has voluntarily relinquished all rights, title, claim, and the right or intent to reclaim a prior domicile. And he has to show that where he is residing is his fixed, permanent, ordinary dwelling. Let me say again that this is different from the sheriff's statute, which is required in filing. Both sides are going to be presenting evidence today. There are going to be some affidavits presented today, and I would ask that you look at the evidence from both sides with an equal and unbiased eye. I appreciate the board's time in letting us present to you today.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Lee, would you care?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Council and I agree that domicile is really the legal term that we are looking for here today. The sheriff's statute and the county statute that deals with residency really has been interpreted by our courts to mean domicile. Domicile is that location where a person calls home. We disagree with what I heard you say. I may misinterpret that. Mr. Ledford has to show an abandonment of the previous domicile, because our evidence is going to be that since he was 2, his domicile has been Madison County. And if that be the case, there's no way that you show the abandonment of anything. The statute, which created what I view as being the anomaly of saying that the challenged person must prove his residency, and we agree domicile, was enacted in the legislative history will show interpretations using that statute really to deal with the situation of a foreigner or a foreigner, as we Madison County would call it, wanting to move from a less desirable county such as Yancey over to Madison, and suddenly claim it as home and run for office. So, again, we agree. The issue here is domicile. Where did John Ledford intend home to be? And we believe the evidence will be overwhelming that although he may not have always lived at his current residence, his home, in everybody's mind, particularly his family's mind, is Madison County. And that's what this case is about. Thank you.
Sir, at this time, if you would like to present your case.
We should call Ramona Ledford to the stand.
Okay, Ramona Ledford, please. Yes.
John, Mr. Chairman, I will slip back and forth calling you Your Honor. I was just advised by the Sheriff's Department that he had a subpoena for Ms. Ledford. I just accepted a subpoena for John Ledford. You might inquire of your counsel or your record keeper whether there's been any return of the subpoena invested along Ledford. The subpoena that I was told about 15 minutes ago by the sheriff, I just accepted service for John, so unless you have contact, I don't.
Sir, has there been a return of service, Mr. Lawson?
I'm not aware that particular subpoena was sent to you by my office for service on her.
I've not seen a return of service, as in courts within the state. If she is present in the courtroom, she may be called to the stand. She is present in the courtroom.
If she's here, she's called as a witness. I don't know if she's here.
Sorry, I don't know if she's present or not.
Want to make an inquiry as to whether she's here?
Okay, is Ramona Ledford present today? Sir, it does not appear so. And again, I don't know, so I don't see anyone standing or raising their hand.
May I have a moment to confer with the sheriff's department to see if they have a return of service?
Certainly, sir, I think that would be appropriate.
Two documents for Spain, I have one for Mr. Ledford and one for Ms. Ledford. There's not any return on one for Ms. Ledford. I think I have a copy of that subpoena.
Does the sheriff's office have a record of being served prior to today?
Not my knowledge. Return of service with that subpoena has not been filled out. I would assume that it's not been served. The return select from the subpoena to her.
If the court reporter could indicate that that is the testimony.
I took it down.
You got it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Mayor, if she's not present, I would then ask that Mr. John Ledford be called to the stand.
Mr. Ledford, please.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give to this panel in this challenge now in hearing, wherein Cindy Herman, Pete Orthman, and Timothy Malone are the challengers, and C. John Ledford is the challenge candidate, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Chair, may I interrupt and ask the august body here, when we met, we signed a sufficient number of subpoenas to cover all that you had requested. Mr. Leak, of course, have we failed, has this board failed in its obligation to subpoena witnesses? I just need somebody to tell me that we're good procedurally, that we did the right thing.
Mr. Woodgate,
Whichever problem.
have the subpoenas that you requested being issued by this board.
The subpoenas were issued by this board and turned around for service the day I received them. And I believe the sheriff's office has had sufficient time. It's not like we surprised them in any way. I would say from our side that the board did everything within their power and timely
I appreciate it.
to provide us with subpoena authority. And to that extent, as late as this morning, the chairman of the board was kind enough to issue another subpoena in a document involving himself, which we referred to but did not get into. So I have no complaints with any subpoenas issued or any procedure done by the board to this point.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I just wanted to make that part of the record.
You make the same inquiry with your clients.
What's that?
Have you actually asked the board to issue any subpoenas?
I have not. I took it upon myself, although it may not have been technically correct, to work pretty well Hayward County to just, I have no complaints with the board.
Okay, thank you.
I've had complete cooperation from the board with regard to any concerns that I have.
Okay.
Sir, at this time, if you'd like to continue, please.
Before I begin questioning Mr. Ledford, could I have a housekeeping moment with Bree Council?
Certainly, sir.
Do you have that? That's what. I believe you did a good thing. So I'm going to start on the issues. For the board's convenience, I had requested to speak on the issue for documentation pertaining to Mr. Ledford's residency in domicile. And in Mr. Leake's documentation, which he handed up, which is yet to be presented into evidence, I'm going to be referring to those exhibits. If there's something missing, we can discuss it. But for the most part, I believe they made a good faith effort to provide that documentation. And as Mr. Leake presented, stated earlier, it is common for him to wait until his turn to present his evidence. At this time, if there's no objection, I'm going to ask that all of Mr. Leake's exhibits that were presented in this packet be admitted without objection from my side, as I'm going to be asking questions about them.
I have no objections to you asking questions, but let's see where things go.
Yes, sir. Mr. Ledford, could you please state your name for the record?
John Ledford,
Where did you grow up, sir?
Madison County, North Carolina.
What year were you born here?
I was not born in Madison County, North Carolina. I came here at 2 years of age.
Okay.
I was adopted at 2 years of age.
Did you go to elementary school here?
Went to Mars Hill Elementary School and Madison High School.
Okay. When you graduated Madison High School, where did you go, sir?
Went to work in my family business, stayed here in Madison County.
Did you ever leave for a formal education, either community college or university?
I attended basic law enforcement training at Asheville Technical College while residing here in Madison.
What years was that, sir?
1990.
Was that a 6-month, 1-year program?
No, that's the basic law enforcement, that's the officer certification program to become a deputy sheriff.
Okay. What year did you complete that program?
It was 1990, yes, sir.
What did you do after you completed that program?
I became a deputy sheriff in Buncombe County, North Carolina,
How long did you work for the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office?
until September of 1993.
Where did you call home when you worked at the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office from 90 to 93?
Until 1991, I lived in Madison County, North Carolina. And then in 1991, when I was married, I moved to Buncombe County, North Carolina. That's where I resided.
Where did you move in Buncombe County?
I lived in a number of different apartments. I lived in West Asheville. I lived on the southern side of Buncombe County, and then I came back to Sugar Creek Road in Dillingham or the Barnesville Community, Highway 197.
Who did you marry in 1991?
Lamona Banks.
In 1993, were you residing in Buncombe?
Yes, sir.
What happened in 1993 at the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office? Did you get a new position? Did you?
I changed jobs. I left the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office and became an agent with the North Carolina Division of Alcohol Law Enforcement, stationed in Asheville, North Carolina. That was the district office.
How long did you work there?
Until November of 1998.
Where did you reside from 1993 to 1998?
Sugar Creek Road.
Was it a house? Was it a condo apartment?
It was on a modular, double-wide mobile home that myself and my wife bought.
At that time, in 1998, where did you, strike that if I may, from 1993 to 1998, did you reside at Sugar Creek Road?
Yes.
Did you at that time receive all your mail to Sugar Creek Road?
I remember having a mailbox, a post office box. I may have still gotten mail in Madison County. I'm just not sure on that. That's been so many years ago.
So if I understood your testimony correctly, you may have, not sure, may have had a mailbox in Madison County where you may have had some mail while you resided in Sugar Creek Road with your wife in Buncombe County.
No, what I'm saying is I may have received mail at not a post office box, but a mailbox at my parents' where I lived, but I know I had in Barnesville, I had a post office box at one time and then a mailbox at another because they kept knocking it down. So.
Thank you. In 1998, did your occupation change?
It did.
What happened?
I became the elected sheriff of Madison County.
You ran for this in 1997 or 1998?
1998.
So you ran for sheriff in 1998 while residing at Sugar Creek Road in Buncombe County?
No.
Okay, tell me.
I may have confused you there.
You did. I'm
sorry. In November, I believe November of 1997, I took a leave of absence from alcohol law enforcement, which was required in order to seek political office, and moved back to the current apartment building I live in now. There were 2 apartments in that building. That address has changed numerous times because of 911 over the years in the county, but it's the same place I live now.
What happened to the home in Sugar Creek Road? Did you sell it?
It's been rental property since that time.
So you still own that?
We do.
At that time in 1997, you said it was November of 97, is that correct?
That sounds correct, yes, sir.
So in November of 1997, what was your wife, Ramona, doing for a living?
She could have been one of a number of jobs. I'm not sure. She could have been working for her family's business, which was Banks Trucking Company at that time. Or she could have been at Marsville College the first time. I just can't remember. I'm not sure on that.
Where is Banks Trucking located, sir?
I guess it's Smoky Park Highway. Highway 1923 South, very near the Buncombe-Haywood County line.
At that time, did Lamona move into the home with you in Madison County, or did she stay in Sugar Creek and continue to work at either Banks Trucking or Marsville College?
No, she came to Madison County.
You got sworn in 1998
Yes.
as sheriff. Did you purchase a new residence after you became sheriff?
At some point I did.
Where was that residence, sir?
I guess the address was 201 Miller Lane.
Is that in
Madison County, yeah. It's Mars Hill, I suppose.
How long did you own that residence, sir?
I'm sorry.
How long did you own that residence?
That's a great question. 2 to 3 years. I'm just not sure on that. We owned the residence, sold the residence. I'm not sure exactly when we purchased it or when we sold it. Sometime during my tenure as sheriff.
I'm going to get back to your sheriff tenure, your occupational track in just a moment, but I would like to ask, during your tenure as sheriff, you said that, let me strike what I said you said. How many years did you say you lived at 201 Miller Lane?
How many years did I live there?
Ballpark, estimate.
2, 3, it could be 4, it could be, but it was at least 2, it could be 5. Times the limits.
Okay. After you moved out of Miller Lane, where did you move to?
Moved back to the same apartment that I live in now, same apartment building.
Okay. And how long did you live there?
Until my appointment as a Director of Alcohol Law Enforcement, October 1st, 2009.
Give me just 1 second.
Yes, sir.
Let me get back on your career testimony. So from 1998 till October 1, 2009, you worked as the sheriff of Madison County.
That's correct.
In October 1 of 2009, you were nominated by Beverly Perdue to become the director of ALE.
That's correct.
And at that time, did you move to Raleigh? Did you rent an apartment in Raleigh?
I maintained a residence in Raleigh.
What was the address there?
3060 Hidden Creek Trail, or Hidden Pond Trail, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Did your wife go with you to that residence?
She did not.
Where did she stay, sir?
She stayed in Dillingham Road, Barnesville.
Okay. Is that 697 Dillingham Road, Barnesville?
That's correct.
At what point did she move from 2611 Old Mars Hill Highway in Madison County, North Carolina to 697 Dillingham Road, Barnesville in Buncombe County, North Carolina?
She began a full-time residency there on October 1st or thereabout, 2009. And I maintained the apartment at 2611 Old Mars Hill Highway in Madison County.
When you say you maintained it, you're saying, if I understand this correctly, and I'm not testifying, I'm asking for response, and there's a question. October 1, 2009, you're appointed, you go to Raleigh.
Right.
To 3060 Hidden Pond Trail.
Right.
She goes to 697 Dillingham Road.
That's correct.
And you maintained the address at 2611 Old Mars Hill Highway.
That's correct. The apartment, to clarify for you, the apartment sat empty, awaiting my return.
Forgive me, I didn't pay attention when the appointment was made. I don't know the answer I'm going to ask, but is the tenure of a ALE commander a fixed term of 2, 3, 4 years? Is it at the pleasure of the governor?
It's policy making exempt, pleasure of the governor.
Is there a historic term to it? Is there a historic 2, 3, 4 year term or no?
No, I'd say, thinking back, the longest serving one I know, I guess, was maybe 3 terms. Term will about be
What is a term, 4 years?
4 years or whatever date you're appointed into the governor's term. As you well know, the governor appoints a cabinet, and the cabinet fills out his positions. So mine was 3 years, 3 months, I believe.
And the longest term you're saying would have been,
There was at least one director served under, I think, 2 different governors. So he would serve for one and maybe under another. But that was back late 80s to maybe early 90s. It's been a long time ago.
when you went there, did you have an idea in your mind that you would be there for 1 4-year term, or did you have a different concept established in mind?
I don't really know what I had in my mind as far as that goes, to be honest. I took it day by day there. Being in Raleigh was that was a difficult position to hold. So 3 years was a long time. I think that was realistic, but it could have gone longer had a Democrat governor been elected.
Really?
No, well, no, elected, because Governor Perdue didn't run the second term. So
Right, okay.
so if Governor Dalton had won, then I more than likely would retain my position.
I understand, I apologize.
Okay.
So when you would come home on the weekends to see, strike that, when you would return to Western North Carolina to see your wife, you would go to 697 Dillingham Road in Barnesville?
That's correct.
Did your wife come down to see you from time to time as well in Raleigh?
She did, not often.
How often would you return here during a 2, 3, 6 month period?
As often as possible. I keep a lot of weekends. Some weekends my wife did come, or maybe other weekends my partner, who ended up being my deputy commander, his wife would come, and so when she came, we would stay in Raleigh. Or if we had something going on that I couldn't leave Raleigh, I stayed. But as often as I could, I came home.
Did you have your mail and other important documents sent to 697 Dillingham Road during that time?
I probably did receive some mail there, but the preponderance of my mail usually came to 2611 Old Marshall Highway, the post office box. My mother would check it. She lived right next door. And I also had a P.O. box, P.O. Box 358, which we've had for I don't know how long. And so those were the addresses I knew the mail would come to. Those are the ones I usually got sent to.
Did you purchase the 697 Dillingham Road, Barnesville property?
No, that belongs to then my in-laws, but now it's my mother-in-law owns it.
Do you pay the property taxes on that property?
I can answer that. Whether my wife would pay the property tax on it or not.
I'm looking for direction to the board members, Mr. Lee and Mr. Laws, at the evidence tab of the binder that I handed up. In the back of that is a County of Buncombe, North Carolina web property tax notice. It looks like the document that I'm showing right now.
Is it under evidence?
It is under the evidence tab.
Which copy in particular are you referring to, sir?
It's in chronological order of all the years. I'd like to hang them all up at one time so that I can just approach one individually.
Mr. Weejay, could you come a little closer and let me have a look at that? My eyesight's not the best in the world. I just need to know which page I'm looking at.
I'm actually going to request that I put them all in once I
Oh, okay.
lay the foundation.
Okay.
In the evidence tabs for the board's convenience, Mr. Laws, and Mr. Lee, I'm looking at the tax notices from 2007 to 2013. I'd like to submit them all in aggregate as one exhibit. I'm going to call this petitioner's exhibit number 2.
Sir, just to clarify, this is behind the key, so I can wrap it up.
Yes, that is, I apologize, the binders that I've handed out for everyone to keep. May I approach the witness stand?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked as petitioner's exhibit number 2. Those are property tax records.
Okay, sir.
For the Barnesville property in Buncombe County. From 2009 to 2013.
Okay.
Could you please tell me whose name that property tax is in?
It says C. John Ledford and Lamona Ledford.
Okay.
But can I expand upon that?
Yes, that's the reason I handed them up.
I know nothing of this document. I can tell you that I don't own this property. And I couldn't even offer a guess of why I would be paying property tax on this property in 2007. My father-in-law has since deceased. It may have now been transferred into my wife and my name, but I don't think so. We don't own this property.
When your father-in-law deceased, is it possible that property transferred to you all by his estate?
Absolutely not. That estate is still not settled.
Okay. So it would be your testimony, you have no idea why the property is in your name?
Could this be cars?
No, sir.
It's,
Property tax.
I have no idea.
Could you receive personal property tax bills to that address, sir?
Could
For
I-
vehicles?
For vehicles?
Yeah, when you say that it could be for your vehicles?
My wife may have. My vehicle is, I received my tax notice in Madison County for my vehicle.
Do you have an explanation as to why your wife's vehicle may be taxed in Buncombe County and your vehicle in Madison County?
My vehicle's always been listed in Madison County since 2003. It's maintained in Madison County, stays in Madison County.
Even though you were residing in Buncombe County at Sugar Creek Road, you maintained your vehicle taxation here in Madison County?
That's correct. And the registration and such, it's always remained in that apartment.
But where you were actually living, your actual home, when you had your vehicle up here was Sugar Creek Road, correct?
No, the Dillingham Road.
No, I said that wrong and I confused, I apologize.
Yes, sir.
Let me restate that.
I had a residence at Dillingham Road, or my wife had a residence at Dillingham Road, and that's where I resided while I was coming home on the weekends. But my car stayed, I maintained or kept the apartment empty there in Madison County, and my taxes have always been paid in Madison County on my vehicle.
Your taxes have always been paid in Madison County
Yes, sir.
since 1990.
On my vehicle. Or well, since you're saying 1993?
That's what you just stated.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's 2003. You have bills, should be in that list when I bought the vehicle, the one that is my car.
Okay.
It's always been tagged in Madison. I was living in Madison at the time I purchased the vehicle. It stays in Madison County.
When you were residing at Sugar Creek Road, did your tax notices go to Sugar Creek Road, or did they stay here in Madison County?
Are you talking about Dillingham Road?
Sugar Creek Road, when you started out after...
Well, I'm sure it probably came, I would assume it came to Sugar Creek Road. It would not have come to Madison County at that time. My wife was taking care of all that. She was a bookkeeper, but I'm sure it would have come to the Sugar Creek Road address or the post office box in Barnesville.
Okay.
I'm sure of that.
If I could ask you to look at these again. If you'll notice, it describes personal property, and it lists that personal property being located in Buncombe County and Barnardsville with your name and your wife's name. Is that correct?
Is there any word that clarifies what personal property he's talking about?
May I approach?
Yes.
What I see here is it describes a person, and it says personal real estate, but I'm sorry, it says, under the property information section, it lists personal property and taxable value.
I understand now what the confusion is. This is the rental home on Sugar Creek Road. That still maintains, we have rented. It comes to 697 Dillingham Road. It's not the residence at Dillingham Road. This is the one that's maintained at Sugar Creek Road. Either I was confused or...
I just want to make sure. So
right.
Now I am confused because if I'm understanding that it's the residence of Sugar Creek Road and it's listed as personal property as opposed to real property, why would the residence at 697 Sugar Creek Road be listed as personal property as opposed to residential?
It would be, first it wouldn't be 697 Sugar Creek Road. It would be, this is a mobile home with a retired title set on a block foundation that is at Sugar Creek Road. And it's, okay. So, and it is apparently sent to my wife's address because she always takes care of the taxes on that. Right. The residence at 697 Dillingham Road, we do not own.
I would move to admit petition exhibit number 2 of evidence. Move to If I may inquire, Mr. Mullins, I believe we're approaching that time. We want me to finish.
We were going to go to 12:45.
I I apologize. Very good. When you try that. So what year were you the director of ALE?
Until December 31st, 2012.
What happened then, sir?
I requested a reassignment back to a field agent position in Ashland, District 9.
Was that granted?
It was.
From October 1st, 2009 to 31 December 2012, did you rent out the residence located at 2611 Old Mars Hill Highway at any time?
And a portion of that time it was rented out.
Do you have any idea who it was rented out to at that time?
I believe that would be Mr. James Fish, or as I know him, Wayne.
During the time Mr. James, is it James Wayne Fish, Wayne James Fish?
I think it's James Wayne.
So we call Mr. Fish.
Yes, sir.
During that time that it was rented out to Mr. Fish, were you still receiving your mail to your mother's address?
Yes, still. Well, it's not my mother's address. There's a mailbox there, side by side there in front of the apartment. And her house is adjacent to that.
Did Mr. Fish receive mail there as well?
He did, he does, or did.
Did the apartment come furnished or unfurnished?
It was unfurnished.
Did he provide his own furnishings?
I assume he did, because he had something he had to move out when I came back.
Did you ever go into the house to do any, did you ever go into this record? Did you ever enter the apartment for the purposes of inspection during the time he was out of there?
No, that would have been handled by my brother or my mother. That's who the rent would have gone to, and that's my brother, probably the one he'd been dealing with.
Why would it have gone to your brother, sir?
Just because he's there every day. His daughter, he picks up his daughter. My mother keeps her in the afternoons, and that's why I would assume he was the one they would have talked to. And that's an assumption, but I believe it to be accurate.
Is this I'd like to turn the board's attention and Mr. Leak and Mr. Law's attention to addresses. Second, the green tab. There's a green tab address location, 2611 Old Mars Hill Highway.
Okay, sir.
There are actually two pictures, which I'm going to mark as Claims Exhibit number 3, Petition Exhibit number 3, sorry. May I approach? Yes, sir. For the board, I'm looking at these two pictures as opposed to the overhead pictures. I'm looking at the face-on pictures of residents. Sure. Could you please identify what I've marked as Petitioner's Exhibit number 3?
Okay, that's a photo rather, of the apartment building at 2611 Old Marsville Highway with the unattached garage and corner photo of my parents' home.
Is that a true and accurate depiction of that property?
Yes, sir, appears to be.
At this time, I wish to admit petitioner's exhibit number 3 into evidence.
That's fine.
And that does include both pages, sir?
Sir?
That includes both pages?
Yes, it's the 2 front-on pages of petitioner's exhibit number 3. With the chairman's permission, may I approach the witness to discuss the petitioner's?
Certainly, so just speak clearly so counsel can hear.
You said that it's the left corner of the picture is your parents' residence,
Yes, sir.
with the right corner of the picture being the apartment that Mr. Fish lived in and the unattached garage. Is that
That's correct. That's correct, yes, sir.
Who made use of that unattached garage?
Myself and my brother.
And what was it used for?
My brother has his boat there, and I maintain my car there, my personal vehicle there.
Okay. Did Mr. Fish put any of his personal belongings in that garage at any time?
Not that I know of, but, I mean, it's pretty full. I can't imagine there'd be a whole lot that could put there.
Did your parents put any of their personal belongings in there?
I think pretty much it's mine and my brother's.
Is that garage apartment owned by your mother?
It would be, yes, sir.
And the main homestead is owned by your mother as well?
That's correct, sir.
You want some water or something?
No, it's not going to do good, but thank you, though.
What year did your parents buy that home?
I think they built the home 64, 63, somewhere before 64 I was born.
Do you have any idea when the home was paid off?
Oh, I have no idea.
I asked this question with the utmost respect. Is your father still alive?
No, he's not.
When did he pass?
April 10th, 2010. Correction, April 18th, 2010.
And when he passed, was that the residence that he lived in?
It was.
So now your mother is the only resident of the primary dwelling of the red brick house.
Unless one of us are sick and come home.
Right. And she looks after her grandchildren from time to time as they get off the bus and things like that.
They're almost grown now, but for many years she's picked up or kept my niece until her mother and father get off work. Yeah, so they're there quite regularly.
After you left in 2012 and asked for your field position, what county did you come back to?
I prepared to come back to Madison County. Mr. Fish was in the residence, and we had given him stipulation that when I returned, he would have to seek other domicile or residency. In an effort to be fair to him, we gave him ample opportunity to look around and try to find a place that he wanted to be, which we did.
Was he a good tenant?
Yes, sir.
Paid his bills on time?
As far as I know, yes, sir.
Did the utilities transfer to his name, or did they stay in your name or your mother's name?
They've always been in my mother's name. My father there's another apartment there on the building, and my father was insistent that there be one meter, and he wanted to make sure that utility bills were paid, so they're included in the rent.
How many square feet is that apartment, sir?
It's Downstairs one is 2-bedroom, upstairs one is 1-bedroom, just because of the way it's laid out. It's a big bedroom, it's a pretty good sized apartment.
So the apartment that Mr. Fish lived in, was it bigger or smaller than 500 square feet?
I'm assuming it's bigger than 500, but I couldn't tell you, I'm not.
Bigger or smaller than a 2-car garage when comparing it to the 2-car garage?
I'd say the upstairs is consistent with the building beside it. So, yeah, that'd be about right. That's a 2-car garage beside, so I'd say it's consistent with that. It's got a kitchen, a dining room, or kitchen, dining room area, living room. Then it comes into a bathroom and a large bedroom.
But the entire space where Mr. Fish resided was the size of a 2-car garage?
Maybe, or maybe a little larger.
The residence that your wife maintained at 2611 Old Mars, I'm sorry, at 697, that's right there. The residence your wife maintained at 697 Dillingham Road, how big was that residence?
It'd be larger than that. It's probably upstairs, maybe 1,000 square feet, and then it's got a furnished